Hey everyone, how you doing today? I thought I'd show you an update to this Creel space station here, and pretty happy. I got a bunch of time into it yesterday, especially, and got a lot more textured and some more areas worked out. I still got a lot of things to do, but show you where it's at right now. Obviously, the most of the front is now textured, so I'm happy about that. Really happy how the bottom of these front landing pads came out. That is kind of the look I wanted, and those little indentations in there with the texture lights kind of spread out, I think did exactly what I wanted it to do. You can kind of see that the block work there a little bit, and it catches the light just right, and it kind of gives it a little bit of depth, and then you've got those texture lights kind of running every other block kind of going out to the sides, kind of following the contour of the landing pad. So that was one of the things that was kind of I was very happy that came out pretty decent. Um, and I did the Octopus Arms. Let me back up a little bit so you can kind of see the full extent of those. So I've got the 4 arms in there. I might just keep it like that. I was going to put in a 6th on the bottom, but these kind of count a little bit as arms. Well, here I'll show you around. I've been looking at different profiles of the creation. So obviously a lot more has been textured up here. Moving down to the sides here too. This is another area I hit is the solar section. Basically, I wanted to be pretty lightweight with blocks, but I also wanted to dress it up. So I did 2 things. I built this center pole in between the rows of solar panels. This is all carbon, by the way, all this stuff over here. So I'm not trying to protect anything here. It's kind of pointless to do that. And beyond that, I built these little end things that go over the solar panels. So there's basically like 2 different parts here that were just kind of put into place. And then I mounted the solar panels a little bit different, put in some texture light little pipe things on the insides of the solar thing, which actually mounts right up to their little round thing they got on them there. So moving on, I did texture part of this. Now this is screwed up yet. One side's a little better than the other, but neither side's tweaked. And that's trying to get this area looking good with this really choppy block work over here. So then another thing that was done is I kind of textured up these things and worked out this whole section that kind of leads to the Helios modules, and then around, well, I'll leave the light off. I'm trying to get that texture light aura going on. Um, aura, that's a new, yeah, whatever. Anyway, so yeah, beyond that on here too, I did add some little spiky things going down those arms for now too. Now I'm still working on everything, and the textures that I got on here is not finalized. It's a lot of it was quickly done, so I can kind of get more of it done. But I'll have to tweak out individual areas as we go here. So then we have a door over here. Now this whole area. Where I left off the video last time, I was trying to tie in everything. I had a bunch of crazy going on one side and the other side, and basically everything had to meet up and join and look right. And that's kind of what I was working on a fair amount with the block stuff I did yesterday. So this area got all redone and built out. I did a lot of block tweaks along, well, a lot of areas over here. And as you kind of pull back from here, and there's actually a doorway in there, it has this. This is part of the original, like on the video when I first started building this, that weird amoeba-like block work. This is actually part of that. It's original intact. It's just basically pretty simply textured with a little bit of a color gradient. Now I did put a exterior light in the area over here to kind of illuminate this area because it's going to be down and underneath the base anyway. So when you kind of pull back and look at the bottom side of this, you start to see those Helios module bays in the background, and then the arms hanging down. That over there, I thought it all kind of worked out pretty well in the end. So yeah, kind of happy. I mean, this was a very experimental creation, and it's coming together pretty good now. So what I have left to do, well, obviously a lot more texturing and things, but I still want to hit these landing pads. Now in comments there's a suggestion to raise them up a little bit, and I kind of agree with that, because what I want to accomplish is when you're out here, I want to be able to see this area a little more clearly, and this landing pad has this way of blocking that view distance from that area quite a bit. So I have an idea of kind of like I don't know, doing something a little bit different with the landing pads, and I'll probably work on the shape and design of the rear ones too. So I actually called it a landing pad this time and not landing gear. That's pretty good for me. I guess I had more sips of coffee this time. Anyway, so yeah, I got a little bit more texturing done on the top side and the abdomen. Let me turn it on. Let me get rid of this fog here a minute. Oop. Let's clear one. Get a little. I'm on an alien planet, so I switched my settings. I was trying to find like a good moody planet for Kriel. So I thought I'd try this one out here. Been floating around from planet to planet, but yeah, the light here is green. I can't really do much about that, but getting an idea on where it is right now. So yeah, I'm pretty stoked. I'm pretty stoked. This was a lot of stuff to get done yesterday. I also got this little area over here. Again, the lighting's pretty bad. I don't know if there's anything more I can do about that here on this planet. Nah, it's going to be green. That's why I had the fog on. It kind of gets rid of that green here. But yeah, it looks okay with the lighting here. Looks pretty alienish. And I'm starting to like the bottom profile, especially with the stuff that you do see textured. I know the lighting's kind of trippy here, where it's shining off the blocks. I don't really want that to happen, but yeah, there it is. So a lot more work to be done yet, and then I got to get into the interior. I'm just some other areas that I think are going to be kind of neat in the end too, when you actually take the trip to the Helios bays. Now I don't have much of this finished off. I did just a little bit of texturing inside of here, but it's kind of neat that you'll be able to see through some glass here and see like more of the station as you're walking to the bays, and I thought that was going to be kind of neat. I'm trying to accent that probably in more places yet too. So it's possible some windows could be popped in or changed. Like I don't know necessarily if I'm going to keep this window over here. It kind of looks like an apartment building or something like that. But I got to have some of that stuff in here. And the inside is going to be definitely a lot of fun to build too. I'm going to try to do some of that in some kind of videos here. I've got some ideas already. What I'm going to do for like the POI version. There's a lot of like trippy things. Like right here, I'm going down to the module bay, but there's this whole like sub-level area, and it gets kind of deep in places. And I'm sure there's a lot of blocks in here I could probably remove that were part of the hull that are no longer needed, stuff like that. So it might have some corridors. I got this really neat, interesting area to possibly put in an angled hallway naturally and actually needed. And this bottom area I kind of want to be cavey like. And there's a door over here too that actually gets to this front door when you're looking out this view here. So I think that's going to have a kind of a neat view to it too. Now I don't have anything for it. I don't know if I'm going to do this or not, but this whole area below technically could be some kind of dock for a CV, or even converted to some kind of module bay. I don't know if I want to do it though, because I think it'll really screw up the visuals of what's going on here, which I'm hoping looks kind of neat, especially at the right lighting and stuff like that. It's kind of all on the bottom side of this thing. So yeah, that was another thought. But my primary thing right now is to I think once I can get these this area set up a little bit better, get these landing pads better, maybe tweak out these the arms, the module bays. Now, one thing that I was going to have a problem with these current landing pads too, and that has to do with I would really like to get the those guide sensors on there, like I did with the Helios. And a big problem with that, you know, I guess any block will work, is these are all half blocks that I got here. So I've got no place on here. I can't put any of these sensors on the bottom side because they disrupt the docking of a module. So really the only place I could put them on is the top side, but I'm using half blocks, so they'll be floating in the air. So having this other landing pad uh, come up and over this in some way would allow me to put sensors on here that actually project to this, and that is part of my plan. If I can pull that off, then I don't have to worry about trying to mount sensors to these rails here. I can put it on this other landing pad in the vicinity. Maybe, you know, even if I got to put it on the top row, it doesn't seem to affect landing crafts on that. If you put sensors on the top, I don't like to see them, but or I could put them on the bottom as well to project those guide paths for the Helios base, which would be a nice thing. Um, and yeah, that's about it right now. On some of the ideas here. Size-wise, it hits size class 8 where it sits right now, and obviously there's no interior. However, I would say most of the hull blocks are in place now. So most. I'll be, of course, making changes along the way. I did throw in an artillery turret over here, but I can't see it. I don't know what it's going to come stock with in the end, weapon-wise. You know, for a player base, most people would probably spawn this in a safe area and not need a combat steel you know, base with all these turrets all over the place, because you'll probably never get attacked in game unless something changed. If you spawn this in a hostile area, well, you know, you're risking a pretty big chunk of change. So, yeah. The POI version, however, I want it to be kind of the hull materials it's built out of now, which is combat steel, and have all the turrets and things on there. Well, a lot of them. I didn't want it to be a space battle. You know, I really want, you know, take out a few turrets. I'm trying to not have the turrets that would coincide with the interior of the station. And who knows, as a POI, it could possibly be an admin core in which I don't have to worry about the blocks of the station getting blown up, or the internal workings of whatever kind of first-person course that you would run through the station that won't get broken. And that can easily happen if you don't have an admin block and you start shooting up the POI a lot from outside. Maybe shooting at the turrets, but all of a sudden you blow away like a sensor or something that is needed to get a player through the main, you know, quest or whatever you'd want to call it, through the POI. That's always a problem, and that's why you can do admin cores. And then if you do slight damage to blocks, then those blocks can be fully destroyed in the game. But if you don't do any damage to those blocks, then you could shoot them all day long, and they'll just stay there. Now, personally, I like things to be able to be damaged because I don't like to necessarily restrict people's options. But it would really suck, you know, if you have this big elaborate course intended to have a player run inside, but, you know, someone knows where the core is, wherever that might be. Could be inside of the middle here somewhere, and just, you know, flies up here with some kind of craft and shoots artillery rounds until they blow the core up, and then, well, kind of sucks. So, it could happen though, you know. So, I don't know. I'll have to figure out that on the POI side of it. I'll probably work on the player base version first, and then probably gut some of that out, and then start going with the POI. And the POI, yeah, a lot of this lower level. I hope to have very, very trippy. I kind of wanted it to be cave-like with growing alien things and stuff. I don't know. It's a little too far down the road to exactly predict what it's going to look like, but we'll see. We'll see. It should be some fun interior to create, and there's a lot of room in here too. Could have multiple floors below and above the hangar, and all this area off to the sides of the hangar. So there could be a lot of nooks and crannies in here and places to explore. It's certainly not the biggest creation though that I've ever done. It's size class 8. I was kind of comparing this to the Kriel Overseer War Carrier, And I have a feeling it's going to come out to pretty similar size class to that ship in the end. And that ship is a size class 19. So I'm kind of wanting to keep this station within size class 20. I think that would be, especially if it was going to be used as a POI. I think that's legit in game to have a size class 20 space station in the official game. In space. If it was a ground base, I think you're limited to size class 10, and maybe that's only if it goes at least partially underground. I could be wrong on my numbers though. I thought at one point in time there was a bigger size class that you could have for space objects because it's less demanding in space, and I'm not sure. But again, I'm going to try to keep this around size class 20 tops, somewhere before that. I don't really want to get it up into like the beyond 20 if I can avoid it. But I don't want to sacrifice detail and things too. I mean, if there's a block that'll look better in a particular place and it adds a tick to size class versus a block that it doesn't use as much size class, I'll probably go for the prettier block just because I want to keep everything kind of pretty. It's important. But other than that, yeah, it's well on its way. I still got I don't even want to guess how many hours I have left in here. The interior is going to take a while. The interior normally takes longer than the exterior of a craft. Now the exterior of this one's a little bit more crazy and did take longer than a lot of more straightforward looking ships. You know, like the Leviathan or Perseus or those. They're a little quicker and easier to build, a lot less craziness and figuring out everything. But I don't know, it's coming along pretty good. I can probably say that total, not talking about the textures, but the total block work so far here, I bet you is probably about 20-25 hours of block work, somewhere in there. Interior, probably 40 to 50 hours to build the interior yet on this. And texturing, I didn't even add in. I put in probably about 6 hours of texturing on this yesterday. And then probably another 3 hours of block work on here. But yeah, most things are coming along pretty good. I'm starting to like the overall shape and profile of this thing. Finally, I think it got stretched out decent enough. It could probably use a little bit more stretching, but I don't know if I'm going to mess with that or not. I was really worried about tying in these Helios module bays too, and that was just one of these things that is like, how do you fit that into something like this and make it look trippy and weird and alien-y, and then the solar panels, that was another thing that was kind of freaking me out. Like, how do you put on so many solar panels that are big and flat and square on a totally roundy creation, well, mostly roundy creation. And yeah, well, you know, enough playing around and you eventually figure something out. So I'm kind of nicknaming this the Creole Monster because I think out of the the creations that I've got, this probably, you know, if you're gonna look at this and give it one quick right off the gates name, my first name would just be Monster. It's so bizarre. It kind of looks like some kind of weird monster you'd see in some crazy alien B-rate movie probably, but there's none of those out there, is there? Anyway, y'all have yourself a good day. I just wanted to show you where I'm at with this, and I will keep on trucking away at it. All right, adios.